Hey everyone, this is Renee from iMore.com, and we're looking at Screens 2.0 from Adovia. Screens starts off with a very handy reference tool to help you get started, how to connect to a computer, how to use Screens Connect, the available gestures for use in the app, how to hook up Siri dictation, the basic toolbar commands, how to use the paste board, the different keyboard supports, as well as advanced things like URL schemes, secure connection with SSH, pretty much everything you need to get started. To add a screen, you tap the button at the top left, and then the quickest way to do it is by looking at nearby and remote computers. It auto-discovers what's on your network, and you get a list of all the computers that are available. Tap one, and it starts to auto-populate the main information. You do have to add your username and password on your own. You can use Macintosh authentication if it's a Mac. There are also options you can configure. For example, you can enable SSH tunneling. We'll go over that later. You can also use different preferences for inertial scrolling directions. You can even choose your custom gestures and set it up just the way you like it. You can also use color depth if you're going over a slower internet connection. You can set up multiple screens, including screens that have multiple displays. It'll show you the full desktop in the arrangement that they're set up in. It can be any mix of Mac, Windows, or Linux machines. To access a machine, you just tap on it. It'll open up. You will have to log in, of course. That's for security. Once you're in, your machine is basically mirrored right on your iPad. To leave, you just hit the action button. You hit disconnect. It takes a screenshot every time you finish so that you can remember easily what you were last working on. You have several keyboard options. You have the regular keyboard. It also has Escape, Tab, Shift, Alt, Control, and Command keys. It has your basic arrow keys. It has an action button. It has this keyboard and a shortcut keyboard that contains a lot of options: minimize, quit, spotlight, log out, undo, the clipboard commands, basic page navigation commands, the basics of what you need. To navigate around the screen, you use your finger to move the desktop. It doesn't move the cursor with your finger, it moves the entire desktop. And you have all the basic multi-touch commands like pinch and zoom available to you, so you can get as close in or as far out as you want. A single click is done just by tapping the screen. Any command that uses a single click uses a single tap. A double click is a double touch and hold. That'll open up the contextual menu. You can use two fingers to scroll within a window, up or down, left or right, any direction you want. You can also use one finger tap and hold to drag. And you can drag whether it's a window, a file, a bit of text that you've cut, anything that you can drag is just done like that. The keyboard does not come up automatically. You have to tap and then to bring up the keyboard and then enter your text. Likewise, when you are done entering your text, it will not disappear automatically. You actually have to hide the keyboard. You can use multi-finger gestures. For example, 3 fingers will swipe between different spaces on the Mac desktop, the same way it will on a touchpad. 3 swipes down will do expose. You can set up anything you like, mission control, dashboard. There's a variety of different options. Because the iPad uses 4-finger gestures for system commands, you'll have to disable that if you want to set up 4-finger gestures in Screens. If you open up a desktop that has multiple monitors in a vertical formation and you can't see them very well, you can just grab your iPad, turn it to portrait mode, and you can use it that way. You can pan around, zoom however you need. There are advanced options. So for example, if you want to connect to a remote computer, you can type in the name, the IP address, you can type in your VNC password, your SSH password, log straight in. There's some advanced settings that you can also do. So for example, if you want SSH tunneling for extra security, you just type in your SSH information. You can also have it turn off SSH on your local network. It works the same as it does locally. You can reduce the color depth to make it a little bit faster. If it's a Windows machine, you have the Windows key instead of the Command key. Otherwise, the features are identical. Screens 2.0 is a universal app, so it works on iPhone and iPod Touch the same way as the iPad. It also works with iCloud, so now it is detecting and syncing all the screens I just set up on my iPad. And if I edit them here, the changes will be auto-magically and very quickly synced right back to the iPad. Because it's the first time I'm logging in during this session, it's going to ask me for my password. Once I'm inside, it looks exactly the same as it does on the iPad. You scroll, you pinch to zoom. The navigation is the same on the iPad. Because the screen is smaller, however, in my experience, you often have to zoom a bit more in order to be able to see. Single tap, again, takes you like the single click. The tap and hold will drag around. You have less room to do it, so it's a little bit more constrained, but it works perfectly well. You can zoom in just as close as you need. Double tap and hold, and you will bring up the contextual menu the same way. You have the same keyboard options. You have the regular style keyboard with all the commands. You have the specialty keyboards. They are optimized for the iPhone screen, of course. You can disconnect the same way. You can also pick it up, rotate to landscape mode if that is easier for you to use. And it is actually fairly usable, even though it is a small screen. Here I have the latest episode of iPhone Live that I am busy editing. I can zoom in, I can open up the keyboard, I can watch the preview video. It just works. Screens for Mac is a separate application available in the Mac App Store. It works in a very similar manner. You simply launch it. Again, if you have iCloud running, all your screens are automatically there. Don't click on the screen for the computer you're using. It will give you cascading death. Click on any other screen, it's fine. You open it up, you have access to it just like you would through any other VNC program, and because you're using one laptop to control another or a desktop to control another, it's very simple to use. You can zoom if there's a difference in screen resolutions. Again, it just works. The last piece of the screen system is Screens Connect. Screens Connect is a small utility that runs on Mac or on Windows, and it basically keeps track of the IP address of your computer so that it is incredibly easy to log in from a remote location. You set it up on the computer, you set it up on your iOS device, you log in with the same credentials on both, and it is activated. And then when you go to add a machine that has Screens Connect, you can tell it's working because you will see a small antenna icon right beside the computer name. And that's Screens 2.0 from Adovia. And this is Renee from iMore.com.